Jack's thinking about me. Yeah, good boy. Yeah.
So far, so good. They stay calm. Next challenge. With the doors open, they must gallop smoothly from the gate.
Steering straight line. My count. 1, 2, 3.
They've passed a big hurdle. But will they keep it together when they have to brake for real?
Couple keepers here. This bridle.
Meanwhile, Bill's worried about his star 3-year-old filly, Christmas Shoes. She's won 3 races, and Bill has great hopes for her future.
Clowns? It was really questionable that it was in pretty low, but the other ones...
But recently, he's noticed something that could be a serious problem.
Take a turn and wait on you. She was making a little noise galloping, and we put the interscope examination down her throat and looked in her throat, and she had a partial paralysis of her left vocal cord.
The filly's condition was preventing her from breathing freely. The vet told Bill she needed an operation to clear her airway by tying back her vocal cord.
We could have run her without the surgery, but the idea was that she's the potential of a top 3-year-old filly of the country, and we wanted her to be able to operate 100%.
After surgery, Christmas Shoes is doing well. But it will be months before Bill knows if her breathing problem is solved. It's a tough break for a filly who'd shown so much potential. Now she'll have to sit out spring training, missing her biggest race of the season.
I'm disappointed because we had projected the time that she came back in training to aim her towards the Black-Eyed Susan, which is the biggest 3-year-old filly race in Maryland. She'll never make that now. But look, it's a long year out there, and there's a lot of races later on. You just got to treat what you have.
Next, Charlie Irish gives the Bonifaces a scare. Today, 4 of Bonita's 2-year-olds are facing an important test. If they can brake smoothly from the gate, they'll earn a gate card. Without one, they won't be allowed to race at the track. A track official determines which horses get their cards, and which will have to try again.
That's good. Races are won and lost right at the starting gate. I mean, you could have the best horse in the race, and if he gets a bad start, maybe Secretariat couldn't overcome a, well, maybe Secretariat could overcome a bad start, but most horses can't. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Here you go. Woo! Straighten them up.
All the practice pays off. The first 2 break well and get their gate cards. Bonita Farm has 2 more potential winners ready for the racetrack.
Be brave now. Come on, be brave.
The 2-year-old everyone's banking on is in the next set. The talented but nervous Charlie Irish is being ridden by Kevin's wife, Chris.
It's all right, Charlie. It's okay, dude. You're all right.
As soon as Charlie's in the gate, he gets rattled. Chris tries to control him, but he panics. This is the kind of incident no one wants to see. Charlie needs to be disentangled quickly and calmly.
Loose guy? No, still.
I worry about that Charlie might have hurt himself. You know, you saw that I had to really wrap him in when those doors busted open. He got a little cut on his head, and he, you know, I'm hoping he didn't twist himself or anything like that.
Charlie's injury turned out to be minor, but he still needs to learn to calm down.
He just banged his head on the gate when he was freaking out a little bit. Got over anxious, you know, is what happened. He's just, when you start working with babies in the gate, they're just young horses, and it's hard for them to handle it.
The high-strung 2-year-old will need more gate school before he's tested again. But Kevin hasn't given up on him.
Taking off from the gate, there's going to be some of them that are going to be a little schizo. You're not going to find every horse that's going to go over there and is going to do exactly what you told him to. If it was like that, then anybody can be a horse trainer, and that's what horse training is about. Is you got to teach them to do what the proper thing is.
Next, has Christmas Shoes recovered enough to go back to the track? Today, Kevin and Bill are about to find out if Christmas Shoes' throat surgery was successful. If it was, she could start winning races again. If it wasn't, the pressure of a losing season will only get more intense. She's training for the first time in 2 months. Bill and Kevin will be listening carefully to her breathing.
She's always going to make that little noise, but I think she's getting more air.
She may sound a little off, but she's eager and fast.
She left there scooting and booting, you know. It's good work. Yeah, she was keen to work.
It looks like their star filly is back in business, and Bonita Farm is back on track.
Christmas Shoes is happy being a racehorse. That's what she was born to do, and that's what's so special about her, is that she knows what her place is in life.
Bill and Kevin have their sights set on 2 races for Christmas Shoes, but she has only a month to get back in top racing condition. The 2- and 3-year-olds are in training, but John Boniface is concentrating on a group of yearlings who need to look and act like racehorses too. They're arriving at the Timonium Yearling Show, where Maryland's 1-year-old thoroughbreds compete for ribbons in a kind of horse beauty pageant. The show is a chance to have some fun, but it's also a respected tradition. For John, a win at Timonium would mean a year's worth of bragging rights.
It's a show that's been going on it's well over 100 years, and it's got a lot of history to it. There's not a lot of money to it, but there's a lot of history to it. And all the old timers, they love to take their yearlings down there to try to win the show, win that class. I like to think someday, 100 years from now, somebody saying, well, John Boniface showed a lot of yearlings through those 30 years that he showed them, and he won it 10 times.
Along with the young horses, some young Bonifaces are about to make their first public appearance. Michelle and Billy, John's niece and nephew, will be leading yearlings in the ring. They've been rehearsing for 3 months, but they're still nervous.
Let them know what you're doing before you do it.
It's a Boniface fest. 12-year-old Billy will join 3 other relatives in the first class alone.
Walk fast and settle down.
A noted horse trainer named Bobby Frankel is judging. He scrutinizes each yearling, checking to see how straight its legs are. A good handler can help a horse stand square and look its best. But with yearlings, it's easier said than done. When Billy has trouble controlling his colt, Uncle John is there to offer pointers from the sideline.
I like to walk them first, Billy, and then as soon as they settle down, just rest them.
I know, but he can't even stand still.
You're doing great, Billy. Don't try too hard, Bill. Just relax. Be natural. Just like at the farm.
Billy's father went through this when he was a kid, so he sympathizes with his son's frustrations.
You okay?
What is your name?
All right. You're doing a good job.
Yeah. Okay.
In the end, Billy leads his colt like a pro.
Those 3 and these 2.
He wins second prize, naturally, Dad couldn't be happier.
You did a very good job. I was very proud of you. Extremely proud of you. For your first time, and you walked it, when he told you to walk the horse, you walked it correctly. Did a really good job. You did better than your mother. Don't tell her that.
Now, father and son reverse roles. The elder Billy is showing Bud, his favorite yearling. A horse whose breeding he planned, and one he has big hopes for.
What you looking at? You're all right. You're all right. What you looking at? Braids are for girls. We don't need any braids. We're manly. Manly, right, son? Manly. See the fillies, look at that. They see those boys all braided up. They go, ugh. They see you. They say, oh, yeah, buddy. Saturday night. Stand up, son. Stand up. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how to deal with that one. He didn't look at you a long time.
Bud is passed over for the main prizes, but he does win the Groom's Award for his polished appearance.
The Groom's Award number 42, please remain in the ring.
Thank you. Thank you.
At the end of the day, John's happy. Bonita Farm got a ribbon in every class they entered, and the kids put in a winning performance.
We finished second a couple times, and it's fun. It's fun. And the kids got to show their first horse, which was kind of neat. I know the next time they get in a position like that, they'll have a little more confidence about what they're doing because they've done this now.
Next, more worries for Christmas shoes. After weeks of rest, Christmas Shoes is still not back up to par. Her first 2 races after her surgery were disappointing. She placed 3rd and last. Bill and Kevin aren't sure, but they think her losses may still be health-related.
The thing that's been bothering us is she's still making the noise. But we still don't know, really, because the 2 races she ran, I don't think was related to here. It was related to circumstances.
The vet, Dr. Lockhart, examines the filly's throat to see if the vocal cord is still blocking her breathing.
Well, Doc?
Well, with the tieback, she still has loss of about 20% of her function.
20% is too much.
It ain't worse, but maybe a trifle better.
It's exactly what Bill didn't want to hear.
That is one of the consequences of doing that surgery. It's hard to get them to be 100% open to
The prognosis isn't good. Christmas Shoes may never again be able to compete at the top level. But the Bonifaces aren't ones to give up easily. A few weeks later, Bill sends the filly for a second opinion.
Yeah, you going to the hospital. Are you pulling it forward, Dad? You're all right. I'm scared. Real tight.
Kevin and his son Fritz are taking Christmas Shoes to the new Bolton Center in Pennsylvania, one of the biggest veterinary clinics in North America. Christmas Shoes will have her breathing tested while she runs on a high-speed treadmill. It should determine once and for all if her vocal cord is blocking her airway.
Dr. P.M. Wilkins, 2220. Dr. P.M. Wilkins, 2220, please.
A general checkup reveals little. She seems okay. But before she is led onto the treadmill, Dr. Martin looks at a scope of her throat. It confirms everyone's worst fears.
She doesn't need to go on the treadmill. She needs to have surgery again. can just see that she has some very minor vibration or movement of her left arytenoid. So you guys have to think. I mean, I'm not forcing you to do the surgery. I'm just saying, if you want her to race at all anymore, she's going to need to have the surgery done. If you want to retire her, that's fine.
Years of work and a lot of worry. After Kevin talks with his father, they decide the risk of another operation is just too high. Christmas Shoes will become a broodmare. She'll spend the rest of her life having babies.
So I think it's the right decision. I'm happy that we went up there. I'm happy we finally made a decision, and I think it's the right one. Oh, I think she's going to miss the attention like crazy. You know, when she's just an old fat mom out there in the field, not everybody brushing her and pampering her or talking to her, she's going to miss that because she is the kind that really liked the attention and liked the action.
She will never race again. But as a mother, Christmas Shoes could produce new generations of champions. One day, her sons and daughters may carry on where she left off. Next time on Thoroughbred, can the farm's best rider get control of Bonita's toughest horses? And a nervous filly sets off for the Big Apple to try to bring a big win back to the farm.
Come on, Blair!
Bonita Farm hits the road. Kevin Boniface and his wife Chris take a high-test filly to the Big Apple.
Come on, Blair! Hey!
The toughest horses in the barn meet their match.
He's still my best man on a tough horse to really hold.
And the Boniface family gets a peek into the future. Northern Flair is a glamorous but high-strung filly who can light up a racetrack and one of Bonita Farm's most seasoned breadwinners.
I love Flair. She drives me crazy, but I still love her.
As Northern Flair's exercise rider, Chris Boniface has to harness Flair's nervous energy into winning speed.
She's a little wacky. You know, she's a little wacky. There's not a mean bone in her body. Look at her, she's very sweet, but when you ride her, she just can't stand herself sometimes, you know? She has so much energy, she just can't stand herself.
Chris and her husband, assistant trainer Kevin Boniface, are working hard to prep Flair for a big race at the Aqueduct Racetrack in New York City. They've decided to make a critical change a week before the race. Blacksmith Wayne Belt is giving Flair a new pair of shoes.
Saying no hoof, no horse. A lot of the problems you get in the legs above the foot can stem from the foot. Nothing worse than having a horse with bad feet.
New shoes will give Flair that extra edge to dig in and win. But if Wayne makes a mistake, she could be scratched or pulled out of the race.
Probably the most important job on the farm. You know, he never gets any of the praise, you know? But if he puts a nail in a little bit tight, first thing happens is the trainer says, well, I got a nail in tight and I had to scratch him, you know? And of course it's the blacksmith's fault, but He never gets the praise. He gets in trouble quite often.
When the horse wins, the trainer did a brilliant job.
Behind every winning racehorse is a team of people. At Bonita, Kevin and Chris are among the best. This morning, they're breezing horses with the head of Bonita Farm, Kevin's father, Bill Boniface. It was a love of horses and the thrill of racing that brought Chris and Kevin together 13 years ago.
I'll never forget the first day she came to work was that I worked a horse head and head with her, and you could just see that she never had the fear, that she really wanted to do it.
Chris. Go to him, get head and head with him. Go to him.
People say, well, he's your husband. How can he be your boss? But he was my boss before that, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't want to be the boss.
Bingo.
Chris is, she makes a good horsewoman because she's done it all her life. She relaxes on her horse. She's got good hands.
He's very good at giving instructions when I go out to breeze horses because he knows exactly how to say things to me for me to get the job done.
She can adapt to the horse. That's what the best riders are, the ones that can really muscle a horse down. At the same time, if they got a horse that's too aggressive, they can get him to relax. And Chris knows how to turn it on and turn it off.
I walked around a couple times in the shed, right?
Northern Flair will race at the Aqueduct Racetrack in less than a week.
Brad should be fine.
Today, Chris and Bill want to see if she can hold her speed for the same distance she'll run in the race.
7/8, right?
Yep. You're going the right
Flair's
way
a
or
sprinter,
wrong way?
fast but short on stamina. Winds are tough to come by for any horse, and for Flair, the conditions must be perfect.
Kind of frustrating when she runs because there has to be some pace in the race. It's set up for her to come from behind. But she only has like a quarter of a mile run, and sometimes the riders, they get too anxious and they move too soon because they feel like they have a ton of horse, because they do. And every time she runs the same race, she just hangs the last part.
Chris has mastered working with a flighty horse, but working for a boss who is also a father-in-law can get tricky.
Go on with her! Go on with her! Go on with her! Lovely. 49 flat. Well, when she came to galloping here and he said, watch your feet, it looked like she had enough, but just enough. What'd you go the last half in?
Well, after you screamed at me, probably 49. She heard you, I didn't do anything.
She might listen to me better than you. There's only two people in the world that are infallible. The Pope and that one right there. So you saw the second one. There's only two.
One thing Chris and Bill agree on is that Flair's ready to race. Coming up, some young Bonifaces take center stage. Saturday afternoon, usually a day off. The Boniface family is relaxing together, but they're still at the races. It's a weekend race meet in rural Maryland. They've come in force to participate in what's meant to be a friendly competition. But this time, the pros will be on the sidelines.
All right, I know those goggles were in there. I'd love it if one of you kids found them. I'd love it if somebody found them.
Chris and Kevin's two oldest kids, Fritz and Michelle, will run in the first races of their lives.
Can't tell you enough about the start. You gotta get awake.
Ground is soft.
They'll run in two different races, but it's the same course. They get expert advice, lots of it.
Gonna be coming this way from way down there.
That corner?
Yeah, not all the way down to the corner. Yeah, down by that white flag.
The right up the hill. Stay on the high ground up the hill is what he's talking. Yeah.
That's right.
This'll work.
Like that.
to work. That's a pretty good run. That's enough to make a decision who's going to win it. I'm not nervous. I think Fritz might be a little nervous. I'm not.
Rule number 1, never let them see you sweat, unless you're a parent.
I'm not nervous, you know, these are my kids' first rides, and I did it when I was a kid, but there's always the danger, you know, and as you get older, you realize there is a danger, but when you're young, you don't. And so I know that they're not feeling any fear at all, you know, but I guess now I'm starting to get a little bit nervous because I am older and I do know that there's always a chance something could happen.
Michelle's up first. As she makes her way to the course, she's calm, cool, and collected, unlike her mom.
I just want them to have fun and be safe. Basically, that's what I'm nervous about. I'm not nervous about winning. I'm nervous about them just being safe and having fun.
Everybody wants to say have fun, but I want them to win, you know. That's what made the Bonifaces, winning races.
There are only 2 horses entered in the race. Michelle's riding her pony, My Blue Shadow. Her opponent's on Jumping Jehoshaphat.
Flags up.
Michelle needs a good start to win. And she gets it. But Jumping Jehoshaphat quickly gains ground. Michelle and Shadow make a run for it. But there's not enough time for them to recover.
29-1 the official time, the unofficial winner, Jumping Jehoshaphat.
Good job, Michelle.
Michelle comes up short in the end, but takes the loss like a champ.
You all right?
Fritz is up next.
And our ponies are now going out onto the course. They include number 1 Mount.
Tony looks calmer here than he does before.
He's on his pony, O. Henry.
They're off.
Fritz gets